Welcome to another Sunday edition of Mullet Family.
Yeah, it's been kind of a week that went past really quickly. Had a roof in town that we were installing a new membrane. We got a really good start on it on Monday. Tuesday it rained all day, even though it was not predicted to rain. Wednesday we got about a good maybe 6 hours in, and then Thursday we got it wrapped up.
It was pretty rainy last week, wasn't it?
It was. It was pretty rainy. Kind of a struggle to do that. And then so Mary's brother Marcus helped on that project. And so Friday we went and helped him. He's starting a new house. He builds custom homes. We helped set up the footers. And so Monday we're going to go back, get everything completed, and hopefully the concrete company will be able to come and we'll have concrete there to pour the footers on Monday.
And you're helping him with that?
Yes, I'm helping him with that. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday I have spray foam projects, and then Friday another pour to help Marcus pouring more concrete. In those couple days he's hoping to have the ICF forms.
All before the snow falls, right?
Yeah, so he built a custom home this summer for Mary's Uncle Simon.
Oh, and by the way, my Uncle Simon, we did an interview with him a year or so ago about his book.
Yes.
So if you would want to know more about my Uncle Simon and the book that he wrote,
Leaving the Amish to Serve with Honor.
Leaving the Amish to Serve with Honor. I'll have that video posted in the description, so please go check it out. It's very interesting.
So, yeah.
He grew up Amish and then left. And he's got a whole story about it. So
very interesting.
Very interesting. And he joined the Army or what?
The National Guard.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Coast Guard, yeah, or the National Guard.
Yeah, you just got to read the book. It's very interesting.
He was stationed in Alaska. Yeah, just get the book and read it. Very interesting. We've had some snowy weather, but we've had a lot of fall weather.
A lot of rain. It's November.
Like mid-30s and raining.
Yeah.
We did mention a couple of videos ago that we had issues with radon, and for those of you who don't know, I'll do my best to describe what this is. Radon is an off-gassing of rocks, uranium rocks, or I don't know what it is. It's a odorless, sightless gas. It's a pretty heavy gas, and it stays low. It's pretty heavy from what I've been told, and for some of you who may not have ever heard of the word radon, it was just a word to me until about 6-7 years ago. Like, radon, what is that? It's like we had the first property we had in Libby. It was a repo. We bought it, remodeled it, sold it. The people who bought it, one of the requirements of the bank was to do an inspection on it, and they put a radon tester in there. They had radon in it, so we had to have somebody come out and take care of that. And it's actually a really basic, simple way. The radon, there's some places it comes up in clay. I keep hearing different stories on this. The first one was you have to have rocky, porous soil. If you have clay, it seals it off, it won't come up. And in the last 2 years, I've heard, no, if you have clay, it can come up through there. So basically, all these rocks underneath here, where we're sitting on an ancient creek bed. The creek is 1,000 feet that way.
And it's very rocky. I mean, these rocks just come right up out of the ground. We keep picking up rocks.
This property here could have been a rock quarry. There's topsoil here. For those of you
little bit of
who maybe watched our video on when we put all the prep work in for getting the grass in, you have an idea of how much rock we have. It's that way all the way down. So anyway, these rocks, whatever type they are, they're slowly releasing this gas. Second leading cause of lung cancer, right behind smoking. So it's a cause for concern. I've been hearing different numbers on acceptable levels that are considered to be non-toxic or whatever. I've heard 2, I've heard 3. I think 3 is a pretty realistic number. If it's 4 and above, it's considered to be, toxic. Mm-hmm. Well, our numbers in the basement were reading, we had it down, the monitors down there for about 8 to 10 days. And the readings in the basement were consistently at 46 to 48, which is pretty high, really high. Upstairs, they were about 10 points lower. They were 36 to 38. Like I said, heavy gas. When we built this, because of the rocks, thankfully I had some insight. I consulted somebody who is knowledgeable on this, and he said, if you would run one line down the middle of your basement, that would be adequate. And running one line would consist of a perforated pipe, which I went to the local hardware store. I bought 3-inch PVC pipe. I drilled 1/2-inch holes in it every 16 inches. 2 holes, like just drilled all the way through. Hooked those all up. I ran 2 lines down, ran them outside, ran them together, and ran it up above ground level. In case we ever have radon, that all I need to do is hook on the pump and start the pump up, which is what I did. And I could not believe it. Within
So we got the pump.
So
and you mounted it.
We got the pump. I hooked it up one night. The next morning, it had dropped 10 points. And we're 2 days into it now, or is it 3?
2 or 3 days. I would think that
So
it's
we're
3.
Tonight is right at 3 days that we hooked it up, and it's less than half of 1 point. Like yesterday, it was down to like 4. This morning it was, and then yesterday morning it was 4.5. No, it's 2. It was 2.5, 2.4. Last night when I came home, it was down to 1, -1.
Oh, that's nice.
So
that's great.
It's very low, and it's amazing. It has an engine on it. You can maybe show a photo of it outside.
Yeah.
And basically, all it is, it has maybe 5 or 6 pounds of vacuum, just a continuous draw, and it's pretty amazing how much air it actually is drawing out. Like there's actual air movement. You would think if it's underground, under the concrete, it would just kind of sit there, and you might imagine that you can feel something. If you would hold a match on top of that, where the air is on top of the exhaust fan, it would blow out instantly. There's that much air movement. So basically what it is, we have 2 50-foot lines. We have a total of 100 lineal feet underneath our slab of concrete, and it creates a vacuum, has probably 5 or 6 pounds of vacuum, and this gas is very, very slow releasing, and it's creating a vacuum where it just sucks it out and disperses it into the atmosphere.
That's really good. And our radon levels are right where we want them, pretty much.
The interesting thing is, most times when I would come home from work, I'd walk in the door, and the first 4 or 5 breaths of air I took, it was like, how you have a dehydration headache? It was almost like that. It was like, it was almost like this heavy, like, oppression.
Yeah.
And a day after I hooked that pump up, I have not felt it since when I walked into the house.
Yeah, and the neighbor down the street, he mentioned something that someone had levels up to 400.
Between 300 and 400. And it's not that difficult to fix. Like the house that I mentioned previously, that was a repo. The people who came in, and it was very simple. Well, it was work, but it was very basic. They went in the center of the house in the basement. They drilled a bunch of holes in the concrete, reached down in there with picks, screwdrivers, and created a cavity, maybe about a bushel size cavity.
And just sucked the air out, huh?
And they just created a cavity.
Wow.
We had a lot of rock. And then they put a 4-inch PVC pipe down there and they sealed everything off.
Oh, wow.
Like they put I think they may have put a fabric or like a mesh there, and then they put concrete over it, sealed it off completely. And then they ran that up. They ran through the subfloor, it went up to the closet, jogged around a little bit, went through the ceiling, went through the roof line and up on top. And within a couple of days, our levels were down that were acceptable for the bank, for the people who bought the property to buy a loan. Yeah. So I can understand that ours went down that fast. Our previous house, they had one cavity about a bushel in size of an air pocket underneath the concrete, and that was adequate. I have 100 lineal feet, so anything coming up with the porous ground sucked it out really fast. But it's still, when you see numbers that high, you get very concerned.
Oh yeah, for
long-term health.
And to know that your kids are sleeping in the basement, that was pretty concerning.
Somebody said, it might take you 15, 20 years to acquire health issues.
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal.
Some people smoke all their lives and it doesn't affect them, so.
Well, the interesting thing about smoking is I was talking with the customer down in Knoxton. One of his workers said for some odd reason smoking cancels it out. Like people who smoke,
it doesn't affect them.
It's I don't know. It seemingly does not affect them. But because we lived in a house that had mold and radon in it,
Yeah.
I regret that I didn't do it the first.
Yeah, we didn't know about it.
I did find out later on if you want to. Let me back up a little bit. I was told there's no way you can know if you have radon. You got to get your house built, etc. Well, I started thinking about this. I think there would be ways of testing it, which I think I might do just for educational purposes. If I would go and put a couple of heavy pieces of plastic out on the ground and seal off the edges, just put dirt on it so that the air underneath there is trapped, put a monitor in it, I think I would have a reading because it's a slow release.
Yeah, and we know we probably will have radon here no matter what. There's too many rocks.
I think it has to be a certain type of rock. I don't think it's just any rock. Because a lot of people back east are like, they've never heard of it. They don't have the rock that we do.
Yeah. So we are thankful we got the radon problem taken care of. That was very concerning. And do you have any updates on your setting hens? Because you set your hens
They
a
are
few
still
weeks ago.
just setting. I really should go out and candle the eggs.
Yeah, why don't we do that? So we're filming this on Saturday night. It'll be posted on Sunday. How about we go and candle the eggs?
We can, yeah. If it's dark, it'd be a good time. And basically
Yes.
that is take a bright light, shine underneath it. If you see development in the egg, slide it back underneath the hen. If there's no development, it's kind of senseless to have the hen sit there and warm that egg for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I was busy today, this past week. Today, I went to town. I got materials. I painted all the trim.
For the barn?
The fascia.
Yeah.
I made the corner trim. I still have to cut the corners as far as the angle. But I put it together and I painted it, gave it 2 coats of paint. I built the 2 doors that are going to go in the loft. And maybe this week or within the next week or so, I'm hoping I'll have time that we can jump on that, get all the trim on, get the corners on, get the 2 doors on, and the barn will be finished on the outside. I am having some issues with my windows. I built the frames, as you guys, because if you watch the videos, I built the frames, got the glass, installed the glass, went to the local hardware store, lumberyard, and asked what would be a good sealant. I have a sealant that I use for roofing that I know would work very well, but I don't have it in black. So I got this product called Big Stretch, and it's supposed to be just the best thing since sliced bread. I laid the glass in there, I put a nice bead over it, set it in my heated shop for a week. We went hunting, we came back, I put it in, and it is not holding. Like for the chicken coops, I leaned the glass in a little bit because chickens need ventilation. One of them, like, it stretched to the point where the condensation inside the chicken coop, the caulk wasn't cured. And it said 2 weeks. Well, it seemed really good and dry. So anyway.
So you have to redo that.
The caulk didn't hold. So I took that one into the shop and I put some of the urethane sealant that I use in commercial roofing. And within a day, that stuff is going to hold. So I think I'm going to have to go put a bead of that on all the windows. It's white, unfortunately, which I guess...
Does it matter what color it is?
No, it's just the windows or everything is painted black. So it looks kind of goofy with a white bead of caulk in there instead of black.
Everything's got to match, right? Even in a chicken coop.
So I do have one of the board and battens on the outside of the barn that is not lined up, and I ended up leaving it, and I'm gonna just leave it.
It's just bothering you right now.
I'm gonna leave it for a while to see how many people notice it.
So I wouldn't notice it because that is the least of my worries if something isn't even. But everything he will look out at the barn and say what is not even, what is not square. And for me, it looks good. To me, it doesn't bother me. But he is very, what do you call that? OCD? Have to have everything square, even, matched up.
I like straight lines. It's been interesting. I've noticed some things on people's houses. And I asked, is that not level or is it just my imagination? And the homeowners lived there for years. And I never noticed that before.
Well, just like my brother Marcus, he built a fence, right?
Yeah.
And he's a lot like me. Him and I have the same personality. And Marcus's wife has the personality like Marvin. They're all they have to have everything even, square, everything's got to match. So, and Marcus built his fence, and what was it?
He built his fence on one of his properties, and he let the posts just stick out. I mean, they varied, it didn't cut the tops off. They varied within 8 inches. And so when he moved to the property he is now, I was helping him build the fence. And I said, well, why don't we just cut them off so they don't look as...
they did in your other property.
And he says, Marv, you're the only person that would notice that. They were not even uneven. They're not crooked. So then his wife, Dora, comes out. And Mark is like, Dora, were the tops of the garden fence uneven at our other properties? Yeah, really bad. And he just kind of rolls his eyes oh my goodness, can't believe this. But we have a lot of fun. We get along very well. We give each other a hard time.
Yeah. And that, we complement each other. Marvin, he's everything's got to be perfect, square, even, and I'm pretty much the opposite.
Yeah.
Everything just goes. And it's so funny because a few of the boys are like Marvin, and I just have to laugh because they're very detailed, and Morgan is very detailed. Everything is matching. Everything has to make sense, and he remembers things, what I like, and, it's just really funny and amazing how God created all of us.
Jordan is probably even more so than Morgan. Now, Jordan is, this little guy here, I see myself in him. Just a couple examples. The other day, came home, I was sore, and I said, man, I'm just really starting to feel like an old man. And Jordan's like, well, you could, cut the top of your cut the hair off the top of your head so it's shiny and paint the rest of it white. Then you look like a real old man. 7 years old. Like, I don't know where he gets that from. But this past summer, we had a wedding at our church, and somebody from out of town shows up with a sports car that is, it looked like a very weathered, faded off orange. I looked at, man, that's an ugly color. And I walked up and I know that's actually the color of the car. And we drove by. I drove by and then the boys didn't see it. And we went back later, the car was still there and Jordan was with me. And Jordan's like, man, that's an ugly car. That paint looks really bad. Well, I said, well, what's wrong with it? Well, it just doesn't look very nice.
Yeah.
But Emmanuel is a lot like Mary. Stuff is just, this is okay, that's okay. He's happy-go-lucky. It's just okay the way it is.
Yeah.
He's not so paranoid about straight lines or whatever. Mm-hmm. And little Jordan, like in church, he wants to sit on his own chair.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be squashed between Mary and I, where he's sitting on the splice of two chairs.
On the crack of a chair. And I'm like, well, you know, he wants to sit on the cushion, not on the crack. Because Marvin and I sit here, and then he has to sit in the middle. But he's just he's our little joy boy. Jordan is. He's our last one. And there's just something about the last child, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just very special. You just don't want to let them grow up, do you?
I miss being able just to grab him and pick him up. He grew so fast. Emmanuel stayed small.
Petite and tiny for a long time.
He's still a big bone, but he didn't gain so much weight so fast. Like
Yeah.
he didn't grow as big so fast. And I could hold him for quite a while. But by the time Jordan was 5 years old, I mean, it wasn't like you could just grab him. You had to brace yourself and grab him because he was, 80 pounds.
And Jordan, he's now doing very well. He had surgery about 2 weeks ago now. He had tubes in his ears, tonsils and adenoids taken out. And we're very blessed. He's doing very, very well.
And he can hear.
Yeah, he can hear a lot better.
A lot better. I don't know if it's hereditary, but your dad had issues, infection in his ears to the point where he lost a lot of hearing. And then when Morgan was about 4 or 5.
Yeah. He was 6.
5 or 6, we noticed all of a sudden he just about can't hear. Like,
he went
you
to
had
kindergarten
to holler.
and he almost didn't learn anything. I think it was because he couldn't hear.
Yes, he almost couldn't hear. He'd be out in the yard and he'd say, Morgan. And you'd holler, Morgan. And he'd be like 30 feet away. And he thought, did somebody say something? So we had the same thing done for him. Tonsils taken out and
tubes put in his ears.
And his hearing improved dramatically. So when Jordan started having the same issue, all of a sudden, hard of hearing, started having earaches. We prayed about it. Okay, I think we need to take him in and see what the deal is. Took him in, and so that's why we ended up doing it.
Yeah.
It's sad because when children don't hear well, it's amazing how much we learn just by
they don't
overhearing.
do well in school.
Like in a classroom, the teacher might be explaining something. If they can hear what's going on, they can learn that. But if somebody has to grab you and pull your ears out and yell before they even hear it, you don't get quite as much.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so we're so thankful. And he had a really, really great doctor.
Yeah.
A Dr. David Healy from the Ear, Nose, and Throat in Kalispell. I mean, he just did a phenomenal job. Originally, I had planned only tubes into ears and adenoids out because he had originally said that the adenoids should be taken out. But at the time of surgery, he went in and the tonsils were very swollen, and he suggested taking them out while he's doing the surgery anyway. And I am so thankful that he did it. That he suggested it.
Yeah. Jordan no longer snores like a lumberjack either.
Yes, the doctor did ask me, does he snore? Is he a mouth breather? And Yeah, he doesn't snore or breathe as heavy since the surgery, so that's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, rough for the first week or so.
Very rough. Oh my, he was in a lot of pain and he was hungry a lot because he couldn't eat. He had to only eat the soft foods like yogurts and things like that.
Yeah,
but it turned out great.
Stuff that you could almost drink, and he'd try to eat something every now and then, and then, that slides down past his throat. And
yeah.
It didn't go very well.
I was dreading the recovery process, but it's over with, and he's back in school, and we are very, very thankful for that.
Little people just bounce back so fast. They heal so quickly.
We're so thankful that you're here. It's another Sunday, the beginning of another week here at our home, our homestead here in Montana. We're so thankful you're here. Make sure to stay tuned because we're hoping to post at the end of this video some footage of you painting the trim for the barn.
Yeah.
So, and also guys, this is the book that my Uncle Simon wrote.
You might have to hold it up a little bit closer so they can see it.
It is on Amazon, and I will make sure to link that video. We did an interview with him a little over a year ago now, I think.
Yeah.
And I will make sure to post that video in the description. So make sure to go check it out. It is definitely an interesting read.
Should we give a little bit of a sample?
Yeah, why don't you give him a little,
Well, here on the back it says, Simon Troyer was born and raised Old Order Amish, a small horse and buggy community in central Pennsylvania, with only an 8th grade education from an Amish school and no birth certificate. No birth certificate. At the age of 22, he left the only life he knew to pursue his dream of serving in the military. After earning his GED, he enlisted in the U.S. Coast Guard, where he served 4 years and was awarded the Coast Guard Good Conduct Medal. Simon, at the age of 39, re-enlisted in the Pennsylvania Air National Guard, where he was awarded the Pennsylvania Achievement Medal, the Air Force Achievement Medal, along with the prestigious Air Force Meridius Service Medal. After 20 years of honorable service, Simon retired as a Master Sergeant.
Okay, so yeah, Simon and his wife are building a beautiful, beautiful home.
It is done.
It's all done?
It's done. They're
So
moved
my
in. Yes.
brother helped him build it, and
Your brother Marcus was the master contractor.
yeah. So how many acres do they have?
They have 200 acres.
200 acres of almost. I think it's virgin soil, or it is.
It's a tract of land like that is extremely rare. Mm-hmm. That size in this part of the country.
It's got an old set of buildings, probably from the 1800s. An old log cabin. It's falling apart. It is a beautiful place.
Yes,
it is absolutely beautiful.
It's a wild place.
Mm-hmm. And they have a pond.
They have a pond and 2 creeks running through it. A lot of forest, nice big field. And
I think with Simon's life, see, Simon lost his mom. He was the baby of the family, and he lost his mom very early in life. So you can only imagine the struggles he went through without a mother. And he had a great relationship with his father, my grandfather. But I just think with the story of his life and then him ending up here in beautiful Montana and the Lord blessing him and his wife with this beautiful tract of land, you have to agree that the Lord's hand is on him and blessing him abundantly. So we're very blessed to have him out here as well as his wife.
So with everything that he did, growing up Amish, in the military, Air National Guard, and the correctional officer that he was for a couple of years, and then the game warden, I really enjoy, sitting down with a cup of coffee and just getting him to open up and start talking about some of his stories. Extremely interesting, yes.
Yeah, so if you know anyone that likes anything to do with Amish, the lifestyle, leaving the Amish, this is the book for you. So make sure to go check it out on Amazon, and I'll make sure to post a link as well.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Mullet Family Chat.
We're just a few weeks away from Thanksgiving. So in my next upcoming videos, I'm hoping to post some more recipes. So make sure to stay tuned for that.
And it'll be the night before Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving Eve will be marked 2 years that we've been at this place.
Yes, and it's been just a wonderful blessing. We love this home. If there is anything you would love us to chat about, talk about, any questions you have, leave it in the comments. We love hearing from you.
Yes. Stretched out right here, I had all this trim that I laid on here as a nice flat surface. Here I've got the corner trim for the barn, and here I have the fascia. And that's wet, and I don't want to touch that. I've got the heater going in here. We have all the stuff that I pulled out of the trailer. I don't want to sweep up if there's wet paint because the dust gets in and everything and makes it rough. Over here I have the 2 doors that I made. I'm not going to have time to put these doors in for this video, but stay tuned. In one of the next videos, these doors will be going onto the barn. The corner trim and the fascia will be on. We are going to head out and go candle the eggs. Why don't we take a peek inside the chicken coop? They're all lined up on roost. Well, not all of them. These 3 insist on sleeping there. I'm not sure what their problem is. There they are. Doesn't that look neat? They're all stacked in there, nice and cozy next to each other. It's amazing how they have a pecking order. The rooster is usually over there or in the middle. There's my unique hen with the feathers. And check it out. Back here, we have a hen with her 4 young ones sitting right next to her.
Mama and all 4 little chicks.
Yep.
They're all sitting beside Mama. Isn't that wonderful? So now we're going to be candling some eggs,
Wow,
right?
it's a lot warmer in there than it is out here. It's amazing. Hopefully I won't get pet. This is a little bit feisty. So if you see that, this egg is not fertile. So we'll remove that one. Okay, you got it. This one, yep, there's spider veins in it. I'm gonna have to set these out so I know which ones are which. We'll do it very quickly. That's the bummer. Here's another one that's not fertile. This one is fertile. This one is fertile. You handle these eggs extremely careful. If you can see that, there's little spider veins in there. That shows that the egg is developing. They're very nice. Yep, that one's developing. That one's developing. So I'm gonna put these. She has 1, 2. She has 6 eggs that are fertile. I'm getting pecked every time I put my hand in. So these, if you see this, again, you see that? There's nothing developing in there. There's no little spider veins. I'll show you the next one also. Nothing is happening in there. So we'll take these and we'll pitch them. I think that one is too. It's kind of hard to tell on some of these darker pigmented, the green eggs. That one is not developing. This one is. This one is. That one's good. See, this one is really dark. It has a really thick shell with a dark pigment, and the light doesn't penetrate through it. So we have two, again, I think these two were from our eggs. Okay, what we throw? Very cold. If you remember, we have a hen in here that has 3 chicks, and they're in this little box. And that poor gal has to sit half standing all night. But if you can see, there's a couple little chicks underneath her. she's really feisty though. I think you can see the little leg underneath there. Oh, but she's really feisty. She's already hurt some of her chicks trying to fight me off. There you can see the leg underneath there.
Oh, we don't want to disturb them. They're all cozy and warm.
So right here is the pump I was talking about. This is the pipe that comes out of the ground. I have 2 lines that run underneath the house, 100 feet total. Had to put this little jog in it because it was too close to the house. This is just temporarily hooked up so that we're at least sucking the air out. Yeah, just a soft hum. This is the pump that was recommended, Aprilaire. Don't know much about them, but this is what was recommended.